Hello and welcome back to our English with Short Stories series. I'm so glad you could join me for episode 7 if you're new here. This is where we make learning English fun and effective by diving into a captivating story. Today, we have a wonderful tale called The Architect of Echoes. As we go through the story, I'll pause to explain new vocabulary and interesting phrases. It's a fantastic way to improve your listening skills and expand your vocabulary naturally. Are you ready? Let's begin. In the quiet, windswept town of Eredor lived a young man named Elian. He wasn't a blacksmith or a farmer like most of his neighbors. Elian was a sound sculptor, an architect of echoes. He had a rare gift. He could shape the way sound traveled through the town's narrow, winding streets and ancient stone buildings. From a young age, he noticed how a whisper could carry for blocks if the wind was just right, or how a laugh could bounce off the market square walls and sound like a chorus of joy. Let's pause here. The term architect of echoes is a beautiful metaphorical phrase. An architect is someone who designs buildings. Echoes are sounds that are repeated or reflected after the original sound has stopped. So, an architect of echoes is someone who designs or controls how sound behaves in a space. It's a very creative way to describe Elian's unique talent. The word windswept means a place exposed to strong winds. Imagine a town on a hill or by the sea, constantly feeling the breeze. Elian spent his days not with a hammer or a plow, but with a tuning fork and a keen ear. He would walk through Eredor, tapping on walls, listening to the resonance and making tiny, almost invisible adjustments. A strategically placed wooden panel here, a carefully angled stone there. He could mute the grating sound of a squeaky cart wheel and amplify the gentle melody of the bakeress morning song. The townsfolk at first thought his work was peculiar, but soon they came to appreciate the subtle harmony he brought to their lives. Let's look at some vocabulary. A tuning fork is a two-pronged steel device used by musicians to get a specific musical pitch. For Elian, it's a tool to test sound. Resonance is the quality in a sound of being deep, full, and reverberating. When he listens to the resonance, he's listening to how the sound vibrates and lingers in the stone. To mute something means to make it quieter or silent. To amplify is the opposite. It means to make something louder. The word peculiar means strange or unusual. And subtle harmony refers to a pleasant and balanced arrangement of sounds that is not obvious or loud, but gentle and underlying. One day, a wealthy merchant named Silas arrived in Eredor. He was a man accustomed to getting his way, and he decided to build a grand, imposing mansion right in the center of town. He dismissed the local builders and brought in his own crew, who worked quickly and cared little for the town's character. The mansion rose like a stone fortress, its flat, massive walls disrupting the delicate acoustics Elian had so carefully cultivated. The cheerful sounds of the town were now blocked, creating strange pockets of unsettling silence, while other sounds became harsh and jarring. The baker's song was lost, and the clang of the blacksmith's hammer echoed with a painful sharpness. This section introduces our conflict. A mansion is a very large and impressive house. Silas is described as imposing, which means he has a grand and formidable appearance, perhaps a bit intimidating. When we say he dismissed the local builders, it means he sent them away, believing they weren't good enough. The word acoustics is key here. Acoustics is the science of sound and how it travels in a particular room or building. Elian had cultivated or developed the town's acoustics over a long time. Now, the new mansion is disrupting them, throwing them into chaos. Jarring means unpleasantly harsh or sharp. The sounds are no longer harmonious, they are jarring. The people of Eredor grew unhappy. The town felt wrong. The comforting soundscape that had become the backdrop to their lives was gone, replaced by a dissonant mess. They pleaded with Silas, but he just laughed. "Silence is golden," he boomed, his voice echoing unpleasantly off his own mansion walls. "You should be grateful for the quiet." But it wasn't a peaceful quiet. It was an empty, lonely silence. Can you bring our town's voice back? The soundscape is the collection of sounds that can be heard in a particular environment. Think of it as the landscape for your ears. Dissonant means lacking in harmony. It's the opposite of harmonious and describes sounds that clash and are unpleasant to hear. The phrase, "silence is golden," is a common idiom meaning that silence is valuable. Elian is now faced with a significant challenge to restore the town's voice. Elian knew he couldn't tear down the mansion. Instead, he studied it. He tapped its walls, he threw pebbles against its surfaces, he even climbed to the rooftops of neighboring buildings to understand how the wind now flowed around it. He was creating a new map in his mind, a map of sound in the altered town of Eredor. He realized he couldn't fight the mansion, he had to work with it. This shows Elian's problem-solving approach. The word colossal means extremely large, which emphasizes the size of the mansion. By studying the building, he is trying to understand its acoustic properties. Notice the phrase monument to himself. A monument is a statue or building erected to commemorate a person or event. By calling the mansion a monument to himself, it implies that Silas built it out of pure ego and to show off his own importance. Elian's plan is clever. He won't destroy the problem, but transform it into part of the solution. His work began. He didn't make big changes. He asked the weaver to create thick, porous tapestries and had them hung on specific walls facing the mansion. These tapestries, which are heavy, decorative woven fabrics, would absorb the harsh, echoing sounds. He worked with the glassblower to create curved glass panes for certain windows, not flat ones. He carved shallow, intricate patterns into the stone benches in the square. These intricate patterns, meaning very detailed and complex designs, weren't just for decoration. They were designed to break up sound waves in a pleasing way. Elian's methods are subtle and ingenious. Porous means having tiny holes that allow liquid or air, or in this case, sound to pass through or be absorbed. The tapestries act like sound absorbers. To scatter sound means to spread it out in many different directions. This prevents the harsh, direct echoes. Each of his solutions is based on a deep understanding of physics and sound, but to the townsfolk it looks like he is simply adding beauty to the town. The baker's song didn't just travel to the market square. It now swirled around the mansion, its melody enriched by the new acoustics, reaching corners of the town it never had before. The blacksmith's hammer, once jarring, now had a deep, resonant clang that sounded strong and steady, not painful. The mansion, once a sound-blocking monolith, had become a giant resonating chamber, a colossal musical instrument that Elian had learned to play. It gathered the sounds of the town and blended them into a new, more complex symphony. To swirl means to move in a twisting or spiraling pattern, which is a lovely image for sound traveling. Enriched means improved in quality or value. The mansion is no longer a monolith, which is a large, single, upright block of stone, often used metaphorically to mean a large, impersonal organization or structure that is hard to change. Elian has transformed it into a resonating chamber, a space where sound can vibrate and become richer. A symphony is an elaborate musical composition for a full orchestra, so calling the town sound a symphony suggests it is now beautifully complex and harmonious. One evening, Silas stepped out onto his balcony, intending to enjoy the silence he thought he had created. But he didn't hear silence. He heard the gentle murmur of conversation from the tavern, the distant laughter of children playing, and the sweet, clear notes of a flute someone was playing by the river. All of these sounds arrived at his balcony, woven together into a beautiful, calming melody. He didn't understand how, but he felt a sense of peace he hadn't felt before. For the first time, he wasn't just in the town. He was a part of it, listening to its heartbeat. The story reaches its resolution. A murmur is a soft, indistinct sound made by a person or group of people speaking quietly. The sounds are woven together, another beautiful image suggesting they are combined skillfully. Like threads in a fabric, Silas experiences the positive outcome of Elian's work. He finally understands the value of the community's shared soundscape. The phrase, listening to its heartbeat, is a powerful metaphor. The heartbeat is the essential rhythm of life, so he is finally connected to the life and soul of the town. Elian, the architect of echoes, had not just restored the harmony of Eredor. He had made it deeper and richer. He taught his people, and even the arrogant Silas, that a community isn't just about the things you see, but also about the sounds you share. It's about the collective voice that tells the story of who you are together. And that's the end of our story, The Architect of Echoes. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a wonderful reminder of how unseen things like sound and connection are what truly make a place feel like home. And it shows how creativity and understanding can solve problems in ways that brute force cannot. Thank you so much for listening and learning with me today. What was your favorite part of the story? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this lesson, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next story. See you in the next episode. Bye for now.